Achieving a nice relaxed bow hold and a good strong left hand shape is of course something that every new cellist aspires to. However, it can also be surprisingly tricky to achieve, and the reason for that is very simple, because we have yet got to build the necessary muscles. So today, with the help of a little prop, I'm going to show you a series of exercises which will really kickstart that muscle building process and get you onto the road to a nice relaxed bow hold and a good left hand shape. Before we get started with today's exercises in earnest, just a quick reminder that by heading over to www.juliamorneweg.com, you can now sign up for Julia's Cello Cafe, my new monthly online workshop where you can work with me in real time. So let me introduce you to my little prop, which we are going to use for this series of exercises. There's no cello involved whatsoever, only this little prop. And this little prop is a little squidgy hand exercise ball. Now, you can get one of those very, very cheaply on Amazon. You can usually buy them in packs of 3 with different levels of resistance. However, if you don't have one of those, fret not, because you can also use a small piece of fruit, such as a tangerine, a lime, a kiwi, something like that. That's roughly that size, and which has just got a little bit of squidginess in it. So let's get started. I'm going to show you today 2 exercises, 2 for the right hand and 2 for the left hand. So first up, we want to use this ball to pretty much mimic our bow hold. So all we're doing is get this ball right in between our fingers and thumb, like so. You see, I'm not exerting any pressure. There's no dent in the ball at all. I'm just closing the space, which is of course what you want to do with the bow as well. No grip. So we're starting like that. And the first exercise is very simple. You are going to simultaneously flex all 4 fingers and your thumb to lift the ball, like so. See? Up, lift. What you don't want to do is roll. That's cheating. We don't want to cheat. So lift, and you can tell, because the ball is actually a little bit heavier than the bow, you can tell that these muscles here are having to work a little bit, and that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. Yeah. So flex and release, flex and release. So you can try to do a few sets of maybe 10 or 12 repetitions of that to get started with. Next, another really important element for a good bow hold is gaining strength in the base joint of our thumb, because that is the one that very often has a tendency to collapse inwards. And what happens when you do that is the thumb becomes straight and it becomes like a sort of rod. And the moment that happens, your bow hold is no longer nice and relaxed. So in order to build mobility and strength here, we need to work these muscles around here. And to do that, I'm going to once again use this ball and I'm going to maneuver it in various different ways. So it's in my hand like so. And now I'm going to start by first of all rotating it around its own axis clockwise. And you can see what the thumb has got to do. The thumb has actually got to work quite hard here. Yeah? So clockwise, anti-clockwise, and each direction requires a different movement in the thumb and therefore works a different muscle. Next, we're going to roll away from ourselves. You see, again, now you're working this joint quite hard, and you roll towards yourselves, like so. Wonderful exercise for which you don't have to be anywhere near the cello. You can literally do that while sitting in front of the television, on the train, at work, whatever you like to do. So plenty of ways to get some work in with that. Now let's look at our left hand. Of course, in order to achieve a good left hand on the cello, we need to have a certain amount of sort of pumping strings here without, again, we don't want this to collapse. So in order for that not to collapse, we need to build our muscles to sort of almost create this little bite here, this little jaw, which can just close in a very relaxed way. So we're now using this sort of natural resistance of our little prop here. And the first thing we want to do is just exert a tiny little bit of pressure. I barely even want to call it pressure because I'm not trying to flatten the ball. I'm just trying between the tips of my thumb and my fingers to just feel that I'm making the tiniest little dent in it. And what I'm trying to do is hold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. So you do a few sets of those every day and you will see how bit by bit by bit by bit you are starting to get more strength and control. Lastly, for our second left hand exercise, we're going to combine the same idea we just had with a little bit of rhythm practice. You know, I'm very keen on rhythm practice. So we're going to do the same idea, tap, tap, but now we're going to do it in rhythm. So you can take something really simple if you like. I don't know, quavers and crotchets, eighth notes and quarter notes, coffee, tea, something more complex. Raspberry, strawberry, things like that. So you hear I use words for the rhythms, which is always a really good way of doing it. So you can be as creative as you like. You can either do it with, it doesn't really work with the fourth finger very well, but with the first three here, you can either do it with all three, or you can try doing it with individual fingers. So just try, you can, if you like, if you have a new piece, you can try tapping out your entire piece on the ball, and that will be really, really good exercise. So here you go. Those are some exercises which you can do pretty much anytime, anywhere, that will help you to build your cello playing muscles. And as usual, if you have any questions, do pop them into the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer. And in the meantime, as usual, if you enjoy my content, please smash that like button, consider subscribing. And if you really enjoy it, you can now even leave me a little tip. Right, I've got a rehearsal and a concert to dash off to, so I will see you soon.